This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, there is a case that has been stumping everybody for 24 years. But just last week, search warrants were executed, and I have a feeling the lid is about to blow off this thing any minute. This case was covered by podcasts a few years ago, but I'm going to give you a full overview with all the new developments. This is the case of Asha Degree. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband Russ true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's your boy Russ, a.k.a. Mr. New Mic Stands, a.k.a. Mr. Big Arms, a.k.a. I forgot the rest what I was going to say.
Mr. Big Arms?
Oh, yeah, because my brother was telling me in my pictures that we took at Vegas. When we were in Vegas, we took some pictures. And he was like, your arms look huge. And I was like, thanks. But then I didn't tell him that's because in each picture I was flexing, even though I was holding my breath and flexing in each picture. So that ain't my natural size.
Well, you're very happy about the mic stands.
Well, now...
And I'm happy because I don't have to hear you complain anymore.
Well, I spoke to my union delegate, and we were about to go on strike, you know. So because of him negotiating with my boss, the terrorists, we're still here. I'm still here.
Yes, we got mic stands. So now Russ is very happy. He's a happy camper.
So did you see, well, obviously you saw, but Diddy was obviously arrested.
Yo, you're going to jail now, Diddy.
Yeah, the slippery guy was arrested. He was very slippery. They couldn't get to him. He had 1,000 bottles of lube.
Bro,
he was hard to grab.
That indictment, I was like, I went down a rabbit hole listening to everybody read it and go through different points of it. It is crazy, the shit he was involved in.
He also had around 800 dildos. They did have a specific number, but I didn't.
800? Really?
Yeah.
Are you exaggerating or is that for real?
No, it was like 700 and something. Like it was a lot, like that much.
Insane.
Yeah.
He's going to jail and now he's about to snitch on everybody.
Well, maybe he was courteous. At least he didn't reuse dildos. He probably used them and threw them away. He didn't have like one like Farnsworth Bentley wiped them up for him or something. Why are you laughing like Smeekly?
I
have
did
to get you an asthma pump.
I did the Peloton for the first time in a few months today, so I'm extra wheezy. Yeah, that whole Diddy indictment is crazy, and the stuff they found is crazy, and I feel like a lot of artists are about to get thrown under the bus, and I feel like Homeboy's going to end up on suicide watch, just like Jeffrey Epstein, and I think a lot of stuff is about to pop off. I really do.
There's a lot of rumors of people that like were involved in stuff, and I won't say because I don't want to,
spread misinformation.
Well, not really. I don't really care about that now that I think of it.
True. You spread all kinds of things.
They say Jay-Z's next.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. I heard Jay-Z's next. I think 50 Cent is like literally laughing on the sidelines. He is laughing at everybody.
Well, yeah, because he has a documentary coming out called Did He Do It?
Yeah.
Which is very clever.
That's a very clever title.
I love 50 Cent. His pettiness is equal to mine.
Yeah.
Like, it knows no boundaries.
I feel like you, 50 Cent, and Cameron are the three most petty people on the planet. The three of you could have a competition of pettiness.
Yeah, we'll call it the Petty Pendergrass Award.
Yeah, so that Diddy stuff is crazy. And I feel like a lot of stuff is going to come out over the next few weeks and a lot of people are going to get thrown under the bus. And we're going to learn a lot of stuff about what went on in his houses and in his parties. So, fun fact, I will not name names, but I told Russ years ago about a rumor. I mean, this is years ago. I think me and Russ, we've been together 14 years. It had to be like in the beginning of our relationship. I told Russ about a rumor about Diddy and Omarion. I knew secondhand through people who knew both of them that there was some stuff going on. And I told you about it a long time ago. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And
they said he got Usher too.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, you know what?
He's been doing a lot of people.
Hey, you know what though?
Throughout the years. A lot of dudes.
Because they did that, now they ain't working a regular job. They traded their ass for cash.
I mean, in the instances where it was
like if it was consensual,
then I guess we can't say nothing if it was consensual, but he still used his power over them. I mean, it's crazy, this stuff. But I told you years ago that I knew from some secret information and it came out. Look at all these years later. I was right.
Yep.
So nuts.
And then last week you were telling me about the highway shooter.
Yes, in Kentucky.
They say that they think they found him in the woods, dead.
Yes.
And I guess they're like testing the DNA or whatever to make sure it's him or whatever they got to do to test it.
Wasn't it a couple that like was walking in the woods and discovered him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we would know already if the DNA shop was fully up and open. I don't know what takes them so long with these tests. Mm-hmm. They really got to get their shit together.
24-hour turnaround.
Yeah, and then as, technology advances and, we get our new patents together, our tests will become faster.
Even faster than 24 hours?
Yeah, you could just send us a picture of the blood and then we'll be able to tell you just like that.
Just send a picture of it.
Yeah. It's visual DNA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I did see like a TikTok video of these people who discovered the body. So, I mean, luckily now,
hopefully he's gone.
If that is him, then he's not terrorizing that area of Kentucky, and these poor people don't have to worry about some dude like in the woods hiding out. And last week when I spoke about it, I said that he had a machine gun, like an automatic rifle. So one of our reviews gave us a 5-star, but also said that just messed up. I did a just messed up, womp, womp, womp. And I really don't know anything about guns, guys. I won't pretend to know about guns. Sometimes I just spew things out and don't actually know what I'm talking about.
Welcome to my life, folks.
Because I am just a random person who is a nurse by day and podcaster by night, and I don't know much about guns. But apparently I was wrong when saying that an AR is like a machine gun.
I thought you said it was like an automatic rifle or something.
It is an automatic rifle. That's what AR stands for, doesn't it?
No, that's what they were correcting you about is what it means.
Oh.
I thought that it meant assault rifle, personally.
Oh.
Well, I do want to remind people, too, that we're really, right now, just two people sitting on a couch that just got mic stands. Like, we're not in a studio. Lucy's over there on her bed sleeping. Like, we're just two regular people.
I mean, we used to have a podcast room in our old house, and we're going to have one in this house. And we used to have mic stands, but then, things happened. We got rid of the mic stands. Well, actually, I lost stuff, and now we have them again. So we're going to start becoming a little more professional.
Yeah, but this is also a two-man operation. We don't do fact checks and shit. I see one thing on the internet, and I blurt it out for you to know.
I do fact check my actual cases, Russ.
Yeah.
But when we talk the shit in the beginning, the 10 to 15 minutes of bullshit that we talk in the beginning, that is not fact checked. We talked about maybe he had 800 dildos and 1,000 bottles of lube. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. That's what the internet says. So that's what we're going to say. All right, let's do your job so we can get into the story.
All right. So we're going to start with the Patreons this week.
Okay.
So every week for the people that join the Patreon, we have extra content over there. Some merch stuff that comes along with it. You guys could check it out.
Ooh, and this month we are covering the new Netflix documentary that is like #1 right now called Into the Fire.
It actually looks interesting. This is the first one that I'm like, I kind of want to see what happens.
I think you've said this about 10 times.
First of
in
all,
the last 3 years.
Last week was the first time we spoke about it, so I only could have said it the second time.
No, I mean, you've said about other documentaries that this is the first time I'm really interested.
All right. So the people that joined this week are, man, you guys be putting these Spanish names here. We're going to do my best. Los Frijolitos. Court, Ariel, Donalyn, Jeremiah, Chris, Ariel, Brittany, Cassie, Alexa, Leanne, Nicole, and Brandy.
Nice.
So thank you guys for joining.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers to you, along with the 3 Kims, Latoyas, and Tinas out there.
Yes. Cheers to you guys.
And also every week, I do a review of the week. You go leave a review or 2 or 3. You just grab everyone's phone in your house, especially if you're the mom or the dad, because you probably pay for the phone. So say, give me that phone, and then leave us multiple reviews. So this one is from, I guess I would pronounce this Lindy's or whatever. Best podcast ever, 5 stars. Fun fact. When I was little, I saw a mole on my dad's belly, and I asked what it was, and my mom told me it was a mole. I heard mold and dwelled on this for days, eventually settling in on the fact that my dad was eventually going to get so moldy, we'd have to throw him away. Anywho, I felt an instant connection to Jess and Russ, aka Big Mold. Weird? Perhaps. But on a serious note, the two of you are true crime gold. I look forward to your banter every week and find myself literally laughing out loud to myself like a crazy person. Thank you for being you and bringing so much entertainment to an otherwise bleak world. Hashtag
Aww.
Russ for president.
Oh, that was a good one.
So thank you. I appreciate you.
That's so funny. Little kids always I feel like they hear things different than what it, like when I was little, when my grandmother and the ladies at my church would say, "Oh, bless her heart." I thought they were saying "press her heart."
When they really were calling you a dummy.
So I would say "press her heart."
So shout out to you. You know, some people like our banter in the podcast. There are other people that would actually name themselves on the review thing Russ's muzzle.
Yes.
Trying to shut me up.
There is a reviewer named Russ's Muzzle.
So fun fact, just because you don't like me to talk, I will talk more. It's my podcast. So, plus, the podcast is free and you could skip at any time. Unless you don't know how to use your phone that well and you're kind of dumb, you have to listen to the part you don't like.
Yeah, just hit 30 seconds ahead. Okay. So, Russ, there are some cases that are closely followed by the true crime community and are heavily covered in true crime podcasts, YouTube videos, and blogs. One of them is the case of 9-year-old Asha Degree. Asha Degree is often referred to as Shelby's sweetheart. She became a national figure in one of North Carolina's most mysterious missing persons cases, and her case has continued to stump law enforcement and the true crime community for the last 24 years. Asha was born on August 5th, 1990. She vanished from her family's home in Shelby, North Carolina on the morning of February 14th, 2000, when she was only 9 years old.
Damn.
The circumstances surrounding her disappearance are incredibly bizarre and will leave you scratching your head. For the last 24 years, her parents, Harold and Aquila, have done everything they can to keep Asha's name in the media and pushing law enforcement to continue searching for their daughter, who would be 34 years old today. Over the last 14 days, some huge developments have happened in Asha's case. Could this lead law enforcement to finally finding the answers to what happened to her on that fateful night? There is a lot of new information coming out, and it's developing fast. There are also a lot of rumors and assumptions being circulated as well. So today, I'm going to tell you all about Asha's disappearance, but I'm going to update you on where the case stands as of right now, this very moment. For everyone who is seeing updates but are really confused about all the details, this episode will clear it all up in one place. I will also say that if you go back and listen to other podcasts that cover Asha Degree's case, a lot of them covered her case back in 2019, 2020, 2021. And there are a lot of details that have now been kind of realized to be insignificant. So I'm also going to not address a lot of those, and I'm focusing solely on the things that are important in her case.
What's her name? Asia or Asha?
Asha.
Asha, all right.
ASHA, Asha Degree.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Asha Degree grew up in a close-knit religious family in Shelby, North Carolina. She was shy, and according to her family, a very obedient child. She was deeply loved by her parents, Harold and Aquila, and her older brother, O'Brien. Asha was a fourth grader at Falston Elementary School and was known for being an excellent student, not only because of her awesome grades, but also because of her stellar behavior. Asha loved basketball and was good at it, and she had lots of friends. The Degree family were close-knit, not only within the immediate family, but also with grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins, because they all lived very close by and spent lots of time together. Asha and her brother, O'Brien, shared a bedroom, and the family lived in a quiet, safe neighborhood. Their home at 3406 Oakcrest Drive was a 2-bedroom duplex connected on one side to Harold's brother Leroy's home. I know in New York, you guys say duplexes as 2-story homes.
I was going to say that too, because in New York, the way we say it and here is different. So I know New York's not the only place that says it like that. So here, duplex means an attached home.
Yes.
In New York, that means a 2-floor home.
Exactly. So this in Shelby, North Carolina, a duplex means an attached home. So it was like a rancher and they're attached on one side. Leroy, who is her uncle, lives on one side, and Asha and her family live on the other side.
Copy.
On the day before Asha's disappearance, Sunday, February 13th, 2000, Asha attended church with her family and then spent the afternoon at her aunt's house, which was just down the road from hers. The day was pretty unremarkable. They hung out for a post-church lunch for a while. She spent the day playing with her cousins, and the family returned home later that evening, and Asha fell asleep on the sofa. There are a few conflicting accounts of this evening, so I'm going to tell you what the timeline is according to her parents and her brother O'Brien.
There have been multiple interviews with them, and since they are the ones that were actually there, and I believe they had nothing to do with the disappearance of their daughter, we're going to go with their timeline.
Okay.
At around 9 p.m., the power goes out in the home. Some sources say it was because of a bad storm that night, while others say it was due to a car accident that hit power lines. Regardless, the power goes out, and there is a thunderstorm happening at the same time. The family lit candles all through the house, and Harold turned on a kerosene heater. The power was out for a few hours. Aquila put the kids in their bedroom and lit a candle in their room for them. But then around 12 a.m., the power comes back on. So Aquila goes back into the room, blows out the candle, and she sees both Asha and O'Brien asleep in their beds. Harold stayed awake for another 2 hours, watching TV and waiting for the kerosene heater to cool off because he didn't want to go to bed until the kerosene heater was completely cooled off because it was like a little dangerous.
Yeah, people are definitely more cautious than I am. I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah. So he ended up going to bed around 2:30, but before walking into his bedroom, he looked in on the kids and saw both of them asleep in their beds. Between 3 and 4 a.m., O'Brien heard Asha moving around in her bed, but he assumed she was just adjusting her blankets and then going to the bathroom. Then, at 6:30, Aquila Degree went to wake Asha up for school and found her bed empty.
That's crazy when a kid just goes missing out of a house. I feel like this isn't the first time we've done a story on something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened many times that children go missing from their home.
And when that happens, like a child goes missing out of the home, it always seems that someone in the family probably had something to do with it because someone would have heard a noise or something. You know, it's just really difficult to just get in a house quietly and take someone and leave.
Well, her brother heard her moving around and thought she was going to the bathroom. But listen, it gets weirder.
And she was 9, right?
9.
Okay.
So her mom comes in to get her up for school, and Asha's not in her bed. So she immediately searched the house, thinking Asha might be somewhere inside, but quickly realized that she was gone. Panic set in, and the Degree family began calling other family members that live in the neighborhood because they all live really close by, but no one had seen Asha. Harold then calls 911 at 6:40 a.m. Law enforcement quickly mobilized, and a massive search began. Local authorities, volunteers, and search dogs combed the area all around the Degree home and the surrounding neighborhood. Search efforts were made more difficult, though, because of a lot of heavy rain. But by the afternoon, some interesting tips started rolling in. Later that morning, the local media was already running the story, and this caused 2 people to call in a tip. 2 separate truck drivers called the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office claiming to have seen a young Black girl walking along Highway 18 by herself in Shelby in the very early morning. The first man said he drove by fast, it was dark and rainy, and he assumed she was a teenager or a young woman. He didn't call police because he didn't think it was a little girl until he saw the coverage later from the media. The second tip came from a father and son duo who spotted Asha, realized it was a little girl, turned around, drove back to her, rolled down the window, and asked if she needed help. When they did this, the men claimed she turned away from them and started running into the woods. The men didn't call the police. They did make an announcement over the CB radio to warn other truckers that there's a girl walking, so be careful in that area, trying to help avoid anyone from hitting her.
That's scary because I just watched this documentary on YouTube about truck driver serial killers. So that may have informed someone that there's an easy target there walking on the road.
That's true. That's a good point. The men went on their route and called the sheriff's office later once they saw the media coverage. So they didn't call police right away either.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I never.
Some people feel weird about it. Like, why didn't they call police? And they think if those guys would have called police right away, maybe she would have been found quicker.
Well, if you knew how it would help certain situations, you would do that every single time in your life. Like,
Yeah.
if you, like, hindsight is 2020, man. I mean, that's a stupid saying, but it's really true.
Also, we have to remember this is the year 2000 and not everybody had cell phones at the time. Because in 2000, not everybody had cell phones. It wasn't like a regular thing. On February 15th, the Turner family, who owned a company called Turner Upholstery Co., called the sheriff's office because they found some really interesting items in their tractor shed that made 0 sense to them. So in their shed on their property, they found candy wrappers, a hair bow, a pencil, and a photo of an unidentified young black girl. The shed is very large, and it looks more like a barn to a city slicker like me, but it's apparently like a tractor shed, so it's not quite a barn. It's big, but it's just to store tractors in. The picture was shown to the family as well as administrators in the local school system, but no one knows who this girl is. And as of now, she or her photo is not related in any way to Asha's case. The hair bow is one just like the bow that Asha wore in her hair, but it was never confirmed to actually be hers. The pencil, that was the most, interesting piece of evidence found in the shed because it was a pencil from the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. And just a few weeks before this, Asha and her family visited Atlanta for a family reunion. So many people, including her family, believe that this was definitely Asha's pencil and that she got it from her family's house during the family reunion in Atlanta.
So they had one of these pencils, they're sure?
Yes.
Okay.
According to the Shelby Star, the Department of Corrections searchers also found cellophane candy wrappers near Highway 18, not far from where the truck drivers saw Asha. And Asha's family identified the candy wrappers as the type Asha had at home before she ran away because this was the day before Valentine's Day. And at her cousin's house, at the cookout that they went to after church, her grandmother passed Valentine's candy out to all the kids. So these wrappers matched the candies that her grandmother gave her the day before. So now we have 2 people who have seen her and this random collection of evidence in a shed. The weird thing about the shed is that it was about 2 football field distances away from the highway that she was walking on. So she would have had to go through grass and mud and into the woods. And mind you, it's pouring rain and it is February. And in North Carolina in February, during this time, when you look back at the temperature, it was 43 degrees and Asha wasn't wearing a coat. Also, the Turners had 2 large dogs on the property who apparently barked at everything. They were kind of like the guard dogs of the property. But that night, the Turners claimed their dogs never barked. Some people believe Asha was never in the shed, and those items were possibly planted there instead. But we'll get to that later.
You guys already know because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's VIIAHEMP.com, Wife of Crime #1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, save more money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you know you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime.
The initial investigation was marked by lots of confusion and concern. Why would a 9-year-old girl who had no history of running away leave her home in the middle of the night? There was no signs of forced entry. And the doors were locked from the outside. Like she would have had to walk outside her house and lock the door behind her.
Did she have a key?
Yes, she had her keys. Mind you, she had no coat on, a white t-shirt, jeans, and white sneakers. She also had a book bag that contained her basketball uniform, candy, and another change of clothes.
When you say she had on, are you saying the girl that the people saw walking down the road, the truck drivers?
Yes.
Okay.
And it also matched the clothes that were missing from her house.
Oh.
Like I said, she took a book bag, her clothes, a change of clothes in her book bag, her basketball uniform, candy in her book bag, and then left.
Wow.
At between 3 and 4 a.m. Investigators considered the possibility that Asha may have been lured away by someone she knew. However, Asha's parents strongly believed that she would never run away and that foul play was definitely involved. Days turned into weeks, and investigators were left with few solid leads. They interviewed friends, family, classmates, hoping to uncover any potential motive for Asha's actions. But despite all the efforts, the case went cold. A whole year would go by before another big break would happen in the case. August 3rd, 2001, nearly 18 months after Asha's disappearance, a significant development occurred. Asha's backpack was discovered buried along the road in Burke County, 26 miles north of Shelby. The backpack was definitely Asha's because it had her name in it.
Wow.
And it was confirmed by her family to be hers. It contained Asha's personal items, including her clothing and a copy of a Dr. Seuss book called McElligot's Pool, which had been checked out from her school library. It also contained a New Kids on the Block nightshirt. The backpack was wrapped in 2 plastic trash bags, which suggested that it was intentionally being hidden.
Definitely foul play at this point.
The discovery of the backpack reignited the investigation, but it also raised so many more questions. Who buried the backpack and why? Investigators analyzed the items for fingerprints, DNA, and other forensic evidence. Not much was found, but the items did remain preserved, knowing that one day, with advances in technology, they could use it to find new leads. Because this is 2001. DNA evidence isn't big. We don't have 23andMe and all this familial DNA and all this stuff back then, but they preserved all of this evidence for the future. Despite renewed media attention, Asha's whereabouts still remained a mystery. Over the years, multiple theories have emerged regarding what happened to Asha. In the beginning, people blamed her parents. But after the years of them continuing to not only be incredibly cooperative and keeping her name in the media, many people have now said that blaming the parents is baseless.
Yeah.
Some believe she may have been lured away by someone she knew or met through someone else.
Yeah, 'cause where is a kid just going randomly
Exactly.
in the middle of the night?
At this time, the year's 2000, she and her family didn't have a computer in the home or cell phones. So the idea of her being lured away from the home via an online predator is highly unlikely because she didn't have easy access to the internet. Others speculate that she may have been abducted by a stranger while walking along the road. Like, this could have been a crime of opportunity. No, we don't know why she left. But once she left and was walking down the road, it could have been a crime of opportunity where someone saw her and abducted her.
And didn't you say it was raining?
It was pouring rain.
So like someone's definitely going to pull over and like, hey, you okay? Not me. I mean, I wouldn't know if it's a child or a grown up, but if someone's just like walking in, I just don't let anyone in my car.
Russ, you can tell when it's a little girl.
Not when you're going 80 miles an hour. You're just flying by. What if it's just like, you know, a crazy homeless person? I don't let random people in my car. It just is what it is. I'm not letting them in. I may tell someone, yo, that person may look like he needs help, but I'm not letting him
A
in.
kid?
I wouldn't know it's a kid.
Okay.
I'm going fast. I'm on the highway. I'm listening to music. You're not looking on the side of the road to see if someone's there. You're just driving.
Okay.
But let me say, if I knew it was a kid that needed help, I would definitely stop and help the child, but I wouldn't think that it's a kid on the side of the road.
Okay. The fact that her backpack was buried suggests that someone had taken deliberate steps to conceal evidence.
Definitely.
The FBI, along with local and state law enforcement, continued to investigate Asha's disappearance. Then, in 2016, the FBI announced that they had received new leads in the case, including reports of a sighting of Asha getting into a dark green car on the morning of her disappearance. According to the tip, an individual claimed to see Asha get into a car that looks exactly like a dark green 1970s model Lincoln Continental Mark V or Ford Thunderbird, because apparently those two cars look very similar. And the person said there was rust around the wheel wells.
That's a very specific car in that time, too. There aren't a lot of those cars around at that time.
I know. The FBI publicly announced the potential lead in 2016 and released images of the vehicle models. So, whoever saw her get into this car had to have seen her get into the car after the sun started coming up. Because at 4 a.m. in February, it is dark as fuck outside. And I watched a video of a lady who left Asha's street at 4 a.m. to show everybody. Like, so you can look online and you can see maps of where Asha left, where the first sighting of her was, where the second sighting of her was, where the Turner's shed is, and then where her backpack is. You can look at like the whole map, right? So this lady, she decided at 3 a.m. to leave Asha's street and walk the same exact path that Asha took, just to show everybody how dark. It's very rural community out there. It's very desolate. This isn't like a city. Shelby is like, has farms and stuff. So she wanted to show how dark it is. The highway is a 2-lane highway. So it's like a country road almost, but a lot of trucks go on there. And it's terrifying. And you imagine this little girl, 9 years old, walking in this pitch black. There's no streetlights. It's pitch black. It's thunderstorming. She has no coat on and it's 43 degrees outside.
The real question is, why did she leave her house? And if you knew that, then you'd probably be able to figure out what happened to her.
Exactly. So in order for this person who called in the tip to be able to describe the car so well and know that there's rust on the wheel wells, they had to have seen her get into this car like around 7 a.m. Because when you think about it, in February, the sun doesn't start to come up till like 6:30.
And driving pretty slow, because if you're flying by on the highway.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think of it, it's not really like a highway. It's not like 695. It's like a 2-lane road that is a highway, but it's like a country road.
It ain't like a highway like I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's not like 95 or nothing.
No. So she had to be getting in the car after the sun started to rise, which would be closer to 7 a.m., like I said. On September 16th of this year, they released search warrants because they searched a property on last Monday.
Breaking news just into the WBTV newsroom. Good afternoon. I'm Jamie Bowl. Cleveland County Sheriff Alan Norman now confirming this week's multi-day search of a property in the Shelby area is related to the case of missing girl Asha Degree. WBTV was first on the scene of that search Tuesday. Sheriff's deputies, FBI, SBI agents executed a search warrant at a home here on Cherryville Road in Shelby. That search spanned 2 days, covered a property spanning roughly 40 acres. We were first to tell you about investigators seizing that green car you see on the back of that flatbed. It is similar to a vehicle the FBI said was a vehicle of interest back in 2016. The vehicle is of interest because investigators believe Asha Degree got into an older green car the night she went missing. I want to read now, if I can, from the news release, again, just sent out by the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office. It says the search warrants were obtained based on physical evidence directly connected to Asha's disappearance. It says multiple items of interest were taken from the sites, and those will be analyzed. It also goes on to say, this is important, it is important to dispel rumors circulating about the investigation. No human remains have been recovered. Again, no human remains uncovered as part of this search that has gone on this week in Cleveland County. The sheriff adding that the investigation is ongoing and official information will be released from the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office when they have that information to release. The FBI, SBI, and the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office has been investigating her disappearance now for more than 2 decades. Back in February, on the anniversary of her disappearance, the Cleveland County Sheriff Alan Norman put out a video talking about the new tools investigators have today to help solve this case.
We actually have things that aid us now that we didn't have 24 months ago, much less 24 years ago. But I can tell you that there's been so many cases, not only here, but across the nation, that have actually recently, within the past days to a couple years, that have actually been solved due to new technology that's out.
Again, the sheriff earlier, a $45,000 reward is available for information that leads to finding Asha Degree. She would, of course, now be in her 30s. And earlier this year, her family said they were holding out hope that she is still alive. Again, confirming the breaking news this afternoon, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office is telling us that that search that has been ongoing in Cleveland County, in the Shelby area, is directly related to the Asha Degree case. But no human remains have been found as a result of that investigation.
I think it's really good that they're still looking all these years later. Most people would think like, it's a cold case. There's no chance of this getting solved.
Oh, they're determined. And like I said, they released search warrants because they searched a property on last Monday.
That's crazy. I wonder if, well, you're going to tell me about the search. So
I'm telling you all about it now.
Yeah, so go ahead. Because I was going to ask questions, but then I should just shut up.
Here we go. I have copies of the search warrant and probable cause affidavit, and I've read all of it.
That's what I want to know. Probable cause. Why'd they search?
Here we go. I'm going to tell you all the key points because it's long. It's multiple pages long. So I'm going to tell you all the key points in the probable cause affidavit on why they decided to search these particular properties.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Asha Degree's backpack was discovered more than 20 miles from where she was reportedly last seen. And this was discovered 17 months after she went missing, right? The girl's belongings were wrapped in 2 sealed black garbage bags and were found along North Carolina Highway 18. 2 of the items in the backpack reportedly returned results linking DNA to 2 people.
Oh.
The first person is a girl named Anna Lee Dedman Ramirez, who was only 13 years old at the time Asha went missing. And the second result is linked to a man named Russell Underhill, who was 50 years old at the time.
good name, but he's very suspicious.
According to the documents, a sample of hair taken from the New Kids on the Block t-shirt that was inside Aisha's backpack matched Anna Lee Dedman Ramirez DNA after her DNA was uploaded to a familial DNA website. And a hair sample taken from one of the plastic bags belonged to Russell Underhill.
Wow. Do these two people know each other?
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
There were two other sisters of Anna Lee Dedman who were ages 15 and 16 in February of 2000. The people who are cited as suspects in the search warrant, however, are their parents, Connie and Roy Lee Dedman. The affidavit also states that investigators now believe Asha Degree is a victim of homicide and her body is being concealed. So who is Connie and Roy Dedman, right? Connie and Roy were married at the time Asha went missing, and they're currently separated, although still legally married. They did and still own multiple properties in the Shelby area. They also owned and operated 2 rest homes, which are kind of like old folks' homes or people with developmental disabilities.
Some type of assisted living
it's like
type of place.
Assisted living, exactly. And a trucking company that was previously owned by Roy's brother, who died in 2011. So they're very well connected in the community. They own a lot of properties and a few businesses. Roy Lee Dedman used to be the headmaster of a very controversial all-white school in the 1970s. Roy was very pro-segregation. Even after the desegregation of North Carolina schools, he is quoted saying, quote, "I absolutely would not allow a Negro in this school. Integration is ruining the social customs of the South."
What a piece of shit.
He was also tried in 2012 for animal neglect when he starved a horse to death.
Oh, it gets worse.
Yes. But the charges were dropped because of a technicality related to the search warrant not being properly executed. The couple have multiple rental properties as well as owning a group home for people who are developmentally disabled and elderly. The home was called Northbrook Rest Home, but as of now, I don't believe it's still operating. So how is this couple connected to the people whose DNA was found in Aisha's stuff? They're connected because not only was their daughter, Anna Lee, the girl whose hair was found on the New Kids on the Block t-shirt, but as I said before, a man named Russell Underhill's hair was found on the plastic bag the book bag was wrapped in. And Russell Underhill was connected to this family. Russell Underhill was a Vietnam veteran who struggled with depression, alcohol, and substance abuse, and he was a resident of their group home. He also had Roy Dedman listed as his emergency contact when he was found dead in 2004 in the rest home, the group home that the Dedmans owned. His cause of death, according to his autopsy, was natural causes related to his COPD and coronary artery disease. Okay, so are you kind of getting the whole picture, or do I need to break it down?
I got most of it.
So Anna Lee is Connie and Roy's daughter.
Yeah.
Anna Lee's hair was found inside the book bag on the New Kids on the Block t-shirt.
And then
Russell's hair was found on the plastic bag that the book bag was wrapped in.
Okay.
And Connie and Roy owned the home that Russell lived in, and Anna Lee was their daughter.
They got to be really old, though, because in 1990, if they were like adults who owned all this stuff, at this point, they got to be really old.
So Roy's 80 and Connie is 76.
And we know that they're pieces of shit because they starved animals and they're racist.
Well, Roy is. We don't know. I mean, maybe Connie, too. That's her husband. So maybe, birds of a feather,
Yeah, so even at 80, someone should go beat him up.
Also, the Dedmans owned 26 vehicles that were parked on a few of their properties.
Goals. I love cars.
Last week, the FBI seized a green AMC Rambler that looks incredibly similar to a 1970 style Ford Thunderbird or Lincoln Mark V. which matched the car described as the one Asha got into. But in the probable cause affidavit, it now states Asha was being pulled into the car. For all these years, since 2016, when that tip came in, the sheriff's department was reporting it as that she got into the car. But now in the probable cause affidavit, they've changed the verbiage and it says she was being pulled into the car, which is very different.
Oh, hell yeah, that's kidnapping.
The FBI searched 3 properties in total and seized multiple items: cameras, computers, cell phones, 3 cars, took buccal swabs of Connie, Roy, and the daughters, all 3 of their daughters. They also spoke with a tenant living in one of the rental properties. He's lived there for 5 years now, and he claimed that there are 2 rooms in the house that he rents from Roy Dedman. And Roy told him when he signed the lease that these 2 rooms must stay padlocked because it has his personal belongings in it. Isn't that weird? If you rent a house from somebody and they tell you, oh, by the way, these 2 rooms are going to stay padlocked and you can't go in there.
It is weird, but maybe he's getting a good price. Like, hey, this is a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom house, but 2 of the bedrooms we just keep as storage. So it's like you're renting a 2-bedroom.
But what's in there? What's in the rooms?
See, I'm not nosy. If I live there, I'm like, all right, it's probably just like his junk or his tools or whatever.
Yo, I want to know what's in there. So what does this all mean? There are many theories and much speculation circulating. And I personally think the lid is going to blow off this thing any minute.
I hope so.
I am in Asha Degree's Reddit group, okay? There are like 50,000 members. I'm in it. I'm reading it every day. Like, Reddit can get a little crazy because people speculate a little too much.
Yeah, like, don't fuck with cats. People get crazy.
Yeah, they get a little crazy and speculative. However, I mean, they are detailed. These people are detailed. They have maps. I'm going to share their stuff, but I'm going to credit them. On the Instagram, I'm going to share the map so that you can see like the map of the route she took and where the sightings were and everything, because it gives you a really good idea of the layout of everything. And it gives you a really good idea of how far this girl walked. I mean, it was miles that she walked in the rain.
My thing is why. If we knew why, then this would be easy to solve.
I know.
I bet you the people from Don't Fuck With Cats are in that Reddit group. They're probably like in all these shits.
Yeah,
they love doing that.
It's
the lady with the big eyes. What's her name? I forgot.
Body moving.
I do not want to see her body moving.
So what does this all mean? There are many theories and much speculation circulating, and I personally think the lid is going to blow off this thing any minute. Was this a crime of opportunity? Did Russell or Roy Lee or both men see Asha walking down the road alone, abduct her, and murder her? Does that sound like a possibility?
I don't know. There has to be a reason she left the house. And I'm trying to think why she left the house. Did someone say, we're going to run away, we're going to do this? Or was she unhappy at home? But, you know, like, to me, knowing why she left.
The thing about theories of why she left, there are a few theories. So 2 days before she left, there was a basketball game. And at this time, her team was number 1. But they lost this basketball game. And they lost because Asha fouled out. Okay? But
fouling out just means you tried hard. It doesn't mean that, like...
But they lost the game and she blamed herself. She was crying and so were her teammates and they were very upset. But her parents have many times said they don't believe that...
I don't believe that either.
She left because of the basketball game, because later in the day, O'Brien played basketball and she was at his game and she was laughing. And then the next day she was playing with her cousins after church at her aunt's house and everything was fine.
I don't believe that even 1 second.
So people have tried to link the basketball game, but that's not. Another thing people have tried to link is they were reading a book in school. And this book that they were reading, I can't remember the name of it. I should have wrote it down, but I don't remember the name of it. It's called The Whipping Boy, I think.
I feel like I've heard that before.
And it's about this prince who has like this servant and he pretty much pays the punishments for everything bad the prince does. So what they decided to do is run away together. And so some people believe that maybe in her 9-year-old brain, her and a friend might have read this book in school and decided to run away together. I mean, these are all very speculative, okay? These are just theories that have gone out of like, why the hell would she leave at 3 a.m? This is the kind of stuff that was going on around the time that people think, because her family was very close-knit, and like everyone in extended family, all of her teachers, everyone says her parents were incredibly loving and involved, and there was no sign of problems at home at all.
Well, all those don't seem like they're plausible to me.
Mm-hmm.
You got to just sometimes throw ideas out, whether they make sense or not. And sometimes I do that when we're talking about stuff. You're like, that's dumb. Like, I'm just trying to throw things at the wall and see if they stick. Like, sometimes you just throw your ideas out there, like, out loud.
Yeah. Well, I think that people have throughout the years just don't understand. They're stumped. And so they're trying all these to think through, like, what the hell could cause her to leave. Another theory is that she was sleepwalking, because this is the age when children sleepwalk.
What about someone came in the house and took her? Did we just close that up?
Yeah, because they really don't believe that it was a kidnapping, because O'Brien slept in the same room as her. O'Brien woke up when he heard his sister moving around, but he thought she was going to the bathroom. Like, you would think that the kid would see another person in there if she was being kidnapped.
Yeah.
The doors were locked, and like I said, no sign of forced entry. So they've really just kind of said no. They think she voluntarily, plus she packed a bag.
So 100% it was her on the highway.
Yes.
100% it was her backpack buried.
Yes, her name was in it.
Wrapped in 2 plastic bags.
Yes.
All right, so, there are facts now. Because if she packed a bag, most likely someone didn't come in the house to get her. She left on her own free will.
Yeah, but like 9 years old, where are you going at 3 a.m? It's crazy.
And where you going with no money?
It's not.
It ain't like you're 9 years old, you go rent a room or something.
Yeah.
Like, where you going?
So did one or all of the daughters murder her and the parents help cover it up? That's an interesting theory. That one also is speculative.
That sounds very possible to me.
But in the affidavit, it does say that if a minor, because Annalee's hair was found in her book bag. So they said in the affidavit, if a minor accidentally committed a crime or did something to hurt her, then the parents, they would need adult assistance to cover it up. And you also have Russell Underhill. We can't forget him. He's dead, unfortunately.
How old was he?
He died. He was 50.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So say, for instance, you committed a murder as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So say, what's her name again? Annalise or some shit?
Yeah, Annalee.
Annalee killed her.
Mm-hmm.
They're both children.
Mm-hmm.
They find out that Annalee did it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as an adult, they arrest her. Do they try her as a child and give her child time? Or do they try her as an adult now?
I'm not
kind
sure.
of curious about that. Because you committed it as a child.
Mm-hmm. But you covered it up all these years.
You covered it up, but now you're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So what, because when you're a child, you get less time.
The thing about that theory of Annalee committing the crime, it's most likely not possible, because she submitted her DNA to 23andMe. And if she would have known anything about this or committed a crime, guaranteed as an adult, I think she's in her late 30s now, she would not have submitted her DNA to Ancestry or 23andMe.
Not everyone knows that these places sell your DNA or the cops can get your DNA from it.
I think if you committed a murder, you're not stupid enough to do that. So I don't believe that Annalee Dedman murdered her. However,
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Hold on, I'm not finished.
It's very possible.
Let me finish. Her older sisters, specifically one of the older sisters, was 16 at the time, and she used to drive the green AMC Rambler around. She also used to transport patients in that car, the 16-year-old daughter. So although her DNA wasn't found, she was the one that used to drive the car more often, the green one. So that's very interesting. And she would transport patients from the hospital back to the group home.
So they had an old folks place, and what else?
It was like an old folks / like group home for people who could be like semi-independently living.
Okay.
Did Russell do it himself and use the family's car to lure Asha in? And since it was the car the family used, it had hair from 13-year-old Annalee in it, which transferred to the shirt.
Because your hair is on every single thing in this house, every piece of clothing I own, in my car,
Yes.
in my underwear. I pull it out my butt sometime.
Yes.
Not like in my butt, but like, you know.
In your crack.
Yeah. That sounded really weird.
Or you can ask the same thing about Roy. Did Roy do this? And since Russell was close with the family, maybe his hair was in the car and it ended up on the plastic bag. We know Roy Lee is a racist. And if he can starve a horse to death, he sounds like he doesn't have much regard for life.
I think we should, as a punishment, we should starve this piece of shit to death.
I mean, he doesn't sound like a stand-up guy.
No, 'cause I love animals.
But at this point, like we've said already, the biggest question in this whole case, the one that no one can answer or seem to understand, still remains. What possesses a 9-year-old little girl who was very obedient and shy and was even scared of the dark, who came from a loving, close-knit family, who had never run away before? What possesses her to leave her home at 4 a.m. in the cold, pouring rain with no coat on and a backpack with a few items? Where was she going? Who was she planning to meet?
That's what I want to know.
Literally so many theories circulate about this. Things I've already said, like sleepwalking. Another theory is, did the kerosene heater give her carbon dioxide poisoning? And could she have been delirious and hallucinating? But the rest of the family didn't have that, so that doesn't seem possible. Did she meet someone, a predator, a few days earlier who told her to do this, who told her to meet them? Did she ever actually go to the Turner shed? It was far away from the highway. Was she actually in there, or did someone plant those belongings there?
I think someone had to manipulate her to leave the house. I don't know what her interests are or what intrigued her, but something, someone tricked her into leaving the house.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of believe that too, and I don't know how this is all going to link up. But this case has stumped everyone for the last 24 years.
It's a little less stumpy now that, that's funny. It's a little less stumpy now that they have some DNA though.
Yeah. No, I mean, this, like I said, this is developing like this week. So
that's crazy. This one's super interesting.
So all of these questions are still here, but I mean, they have seized so much stuff from these properties. So I'm like waiting in anticipation. I'm like sitting here on pins and needles waiting for this stuff to come out, the results to come out. I mean, they seized so many things.
You got to stay up on this, and then we got to keep doing updates.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the reason I waited to do this case was because, you know, Asha Degree's case has been covered by so many people, and there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Where's the best place to find information as it comes out?
I would say the Reddit, Asha Degree Reddit, because they're constantly updating.
So I guess the best place for me to find it is from you. As you find it.
Yeah, because I'm watching the Asha Degree Reddit forum. But, you know, over the years, this has been covered a lot. There's been so many stories and speculations and rumors. But once I saw that a search warrant was executed last week, I was like, okay, I have to do this, because now everyone, you're going to go back. You're going to try to find information about this case. You're going to listen to multiple podcasts who, like I said, were released a few years ago, who have information in their podcasts and YouTube channels that are not updated, and that some of the information has now been proven to be insignificant.
What gave them probable cause to get a search warrant? That's what I want to know.
I just told you all of it.
What?
The probable cause affidavit. I told you everything in it.
Was like the car.
The car that the car matched the car that the tip came in. The hair strands found on the bag and the New Kids on the Block that matched Anna Lee and Russell Underhill. The fact that Russell Underhill lived at the group home that they owned.
I'm sorry for the stupid question, but
like I already went through all of this.
I thought there might have been more.
No, I told you everything.
It's very interesting. I'm very intrigued.
This case has stumped everyone for the last 24 years, and I truly hope and pray with all my heart that this is the end of the Asha Degree saga. That Aquila, Harold, and O'Brien can finally have the answers they so desperately want and deserve in this case. They are absolutely the sweetest people. They love their daughter so much. And I desperately hope this case will finally be solved soon.
Me too.
Something that's really sad is that February 14th is their wedding anniversary.
Is that Valentine's Day?
Yeah. And so from the day she was gone, February 14th, 2000, their plan was they both took off work that day. They were going to send the kids to school, and this was going to be their day to spend together because they both worked full time and had these two kids. And so they were going to spend the whole day together because it was like their 10-year wedding anniversary or something significant. Maybe 14 years. I can't remember, but it was a higher number. So now, ever since she went missing, they've never celebrated their anniversary again.
Wow.
Because they feel like they can't celebrate their anniversary when their daughter is still missing. And reporters in the media, the media can be really scummy sometimes. Like they'll call her when, there's lots of cases of girls. JC Dugard, we did her case. She was held captive for 8 years and finally came out, was freed. Like
Wild.
people are held captive. Those 3 girls in Cleveland, that were held captive in that house with that dude for years and years. And he one of them had his baby.
Oh, was that the one where the black dude was doing the interview and he's
yes.
like, I knew something was wrong because a white girl ran into my arms.
Yeah. Yes. So
I love that.
So there's so many people who have been rescued, who have been missing and then been found. And the media calls Aquila when these cases come up of people who are rescued.
They shouldn't do that.
They call her, ask her for comment.
What the hell?
And she's put in a position where she's like, well,
of
course I'm happy.
Good.
I'm a mama whose daughter has been gone for 24 years. Of course I'm happy for this family. But she also has to respond because the more she talks to the media, the more people talk about her daughter. So even though it's really annoying that the media does that and these reporters do that to her, she also constantly answers them and constantly talks about it because she wants her daughter's name out there.
Damn, because I would definitely hit him with eat a dick.
She doesn't want to do that because she wants people to talk about her daughter.
She's smart and not emotional. I'm emotional.
She's a good woman.
I would be like, you know what? Just come over for an interview. Then they come in my house and I would hit him with the 1-2.
So this case is truly a head scratcher and it will send you down rabbit holes. And I tried to avoid going too deep into the insignificant details that have now come out to be not that important anymore, where people once thought they were important. But I hope that this was a good overview for everybody of what the case is, where it stands today. I will keep everybody updated because I'm super invested. I want to know what's happening. I can't wait to get more information about what they seized. And I can't wait for those buccal swabs to come back because they swabbed Connie and Roy. Buccal, the mouth swabs. That's what they call mouth swabs in crime.
Stop hitting me with big words.
Sorry. DNA swabs.
Yeah.
Mouth swabs. So they swabbed the daughters and Roy and Connie. So I just can't wait for everything to come back and start resulting.
I can't wait too. So now I'm invested. This is one that very much intrigues me. And I guess I'm becoming a true crime guy now.
Oh, I guess so.
I never admitted it till now.
Well, you're also very interested in the Patreon the Patreon documentary that we're going to watch this month.
This is an interesting couple episodes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I will keep everyone updated. Have a wonderful week, folks, and we will talk to you later. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod.
Get the merch.
And Facebook at Wife of Crime, The Crime Family, and Patreon at Wife of Crime Pod.
And wifeofcrime.com got the cool merch. Go check it out. The Wife of Crime camp and the beer and wine one.
And Not Me, Not Today. You can't forget that.
Not me, not. That's my shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the winky face.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hat is fly though. If you don't got the hat,
The hat is fly.
you ain't it. How was recording with the mic stand? I don't think you deserve a mic stand because you fought me this long. You should have had to keep doing episodes without one. But how did you feel? I saw you actually reading your iPad and then following along the words with one finger, like when first graders read.
Because I didn't have to hold it. It actually was very freeing and nice.
Yeah, I was able to drink, open a can. So first of all, folks, you haven't heard me open cans of beer or whatever during the podcast because I was holding the microphone with one hand. And then how am I going to open the can?
Yes, Russ. I'm glad we have the mic stands. I'm glad we got the screws.
And why are you rolling your eyes and shaking your head while you're doing this?
I'm glad. I'm happy.
The lie detector test determines that is a lie.
No, it's not a lie. I'm happy. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.